You guys, the most emotional thing happened to me yesterday. Yesterday, a group at our school had a organization come in and talk to us. It was Rachel's Challenge. And it was based off of essays and journals of Rachel Scott. And if you don't know who Rachel Scott is, she was the first person to be killed in the Columbine shooting in 1999. They talked about a lot. First, they just started talking about what actually happened that day with the shooting, which was emotional. That's what made me cry the first time. Parents waiting for their kids to come out and they never did. And the last things some people heard or said, there was one guy that the last thing he said was that he wanted to see his mom, and that got to me. At the end of the presentation, the guy was like, I encourage you to tell people that mean something to you that you love them and how much you love them, because you don't know the next time you're going to see them. You don't know what tomorrow brings and the next 5 minutes brings. You don't know what's going to happen, and you need to, make sure that those people know that you love them, because you don't know if you'll see them again. Those students went to school thinking they'll be back by the evening time back home, and their parents thought the same thing, and it turns out that they'd never see their kid again because of people being unkind. And they started talking about how good of a person this Rachel Scott was. And at first I was like, yeah, whatever. They always say that about people who are gone. And you want to say positive things about people when they're gone. Like, of course they're going to say she was a good person. But then he started talking about her more. She went out of her way to be kind to people, and there's some things that she said. One of the first things that I quoted that she had said was, I have this theory that if one person can go out of their way to show compassion, then it will start a chain reaction of the same. People will never know how far a little kindness can go. The gunmen at Columbine were bullied, and the bullying I don't know this, but the bullying might not be the whole reason that they decided they wanted to murder a bunch of students, but you can't just be like, no, that's not part of it. Like, it's obviously a part of it. And the same thing goes for the Parkland shooting. After the Parkland shooting happened and I saw the protests and all of the school walkouts, I became really passionate about things like that. This world needs kindness, if we're all being honest, and we all know that, and it's really not hard to be kind, but we just choose not to. I know that I choose not to be kind, and now I'm choosing to be kind. It made me really emotional. I was crying, shaking, I was sobbing, tears down my face. I was crying into my hands, so the tears were going into my hands and then on my face, so my whole face was wet. Crying because I couldn't believe there was such cruel people in this world that they could do things like that, and it made me realize that I need to be a kinder person, And seeing how things that people say, their actions, their words can affect other people, and then the way that makes people feel, there was the example of suicide, and then there's the example of the school shooting. So the way that what you do to someone can affect them and how powerful that is, that really got to me. It made me realize a lot of things. It made me realize that I'm not as kind of a person that I want to be. I'm just one person, but like she said, if you start being kind, it'll start a chain reaction, and I know that's true because I've seen it before. And so I am going to be a kinder person, and I feel like everyone should be a kinder person. The fact that there are such cruel people in this world that do such cruel things, it like physically pains me to know that someone could do that. I would never even think about doing something like that, and for them to actually be okay with it and go through with it is just out of this world to me. They said that this little presentation that they have has prevented school shootings. I think it was like 7 that they said, just these presentations. It had prevented suicides. It was less based on the actual shooting at Columbine, it was more based on kindness and why you should be kind and the consequences and everything like that. I want to be someone who is kind to people, and I want to make a difference, and that's what this girl did too. She said that she wanted to make a difference in people's lives, and she said herself that she was going to, and she has. More than 12,000 schools and businesses are reached every year. Over 1.5 million people are involved in Rachel's challenge. After listening to him speak about how Rachel's kindness had literally changed people's lives, it kind of made me realize that I need to be a kinder person. Like, I'm not a kind person. Like, I try to be a kind person, but I'm really not. After the presentation, a lot of people were in tears. The whole time I was just sobbing, head in my hands, crying, shaking. My friends and I were holding hands, and we were hugging each other because we were just so distraught. Mostly it was because it just pains me to know that there are such cruel people in this world, and that it has an effect on people that don't deserve it. So it showed me the real effect that kindness can have. And I want our society to change how we treat people, because it does affect everybody. The newspaper was there. They were taking pictures of us, and my friends and I were sobbing. This was a picture of the audience watching the presentation. My friends and I ended up in the newspaper sobbing, and then I was looking further, and here am I, just sobbing. Honestly, you can see how emotional we got and how much pain was in us with these photos, and I think that's just another way of showing that yes, we need to be kinder. So I'm going to do my part and become a kinder person. It might be hard for me because I'm a pretty negative person, but it's what I need to do, because I don't want any more cruelness in this world, and I'm a small person, I'm a small part of the society, but we can make a chain reaction, and I think everyone should. So, let's make society better, and let's just be kind to people.